Catherine, you took over in Guinness Storehouse just as the COVID outbreak emerged. So it's been a tough 2 years, but you're back open, you're trading again. How's the year looking?
Hi, Owen. It's great to be chatting to you again. I can't believe it's like a year since we caught up, and what a difference a year makes. Our financial year runs from the 1st of July until the 30th of June. So we've kind of just closed out our financial year. And in terms of visitor numbers, if I look at the visitor numbers for our financial year before, we had about 78,000 visitors. Right. And at the end of this year, we had just over 600,000. So, it was certainly a year of two halves, because from July until even the end of February of last year, it had been very quiet. We still had quite a lot of restrictions in place in terms of government guidelines with COVID. And then from March, from St. Patrick's Day and the wonderful St. Patrick's Festival, we were able to put on with Dublin City and ourselves, and indeed right across the country. We just seen a huge pickup, and in April, the month of April, we actually had more visitors in the month of April than we had for the entire year last year. And indeed, April, May and June have been incredibly strong, and July as well.
Yeah. So momentum is powering on. And for example, if you look at, say, your last month, how did that compare, say, to the same month in 2019 in terms of tracking recovery? How are you doing?
So up until the end of June, we had been tracking at about 60% of 2019. For the month of July, we're tracking at about 64% of visitor numbers. So brilliant to see that. Some of the markets, however, are certainly slowing. So we're seeing mainland Europe, particularly challenging and actually down compared to April, May, June of this year. So we're kind of looking at the trends just for the last couple of months, where we're really seeing trends with volume of visitors coming into the country. So it's brilliant. We're performing really well in July and August, about as I mentioned, 64% of 2019. But still a way to go. If you think about the recovery, and Fáilte Ireland have just produced some airline reports, which is really great to see, and you can see that the UK market is really is coming back, bouncing back. The US market's bouncing back. Yeah. Mainland Europe is bouncing back. We're just analysing how that's impacting us here in the Guinness Storehouse, and I suppose right across Dublin City, in terms of competitiveness also.
And we we've talked about this before off camera, but there's a bit of a data dearth at the moment within tourism, because the CSO aren't reporting the same level of data as they were previously. So we struggle, in within a tourism context to work out what the spend of the tourist is. But just in terms of the storehouse, without disclosing any kind of confidential stuff, are spend levels up? You say volume is tracking about 64%. Is spend sort of similar, or a bit above or a bit less?
The spend is tracking better, and has been to date, and that's down to the great recovery in the American market. We find that the American market really do spend a lot of the time. They're coming for that that kind of bucket list experience. So spend is tracking better. We're probably at between 70 and 80%, depending. Great. What's really strong is our retail spend. So we invested significantly in our retail store during COVID-19, and we're seeing the benefit of that investment with more experiences and more personalised experiences in the Guinness Storehouse. We're also seeing spend up in Row & Co, where we have an amazing range of whiskey products, as well as the liquid itself. So we're seeing retail spend performing really well. And we have moved on price. Our annual price increase is in place, and we're seeing, of course, with the cost of living and the cost of doing business, we've increased our price slightly from the beginning of July, and we're seeing the benefit of that as well.
Yeah, and no resistance from the consumer to the increase in price
no,
that you're aware of?
Not so far. It's probably early days yet. And, mainland Europe markets are definitely price sensitive. So if we look at the overall picture of competitiveness for Dublin and Ireland, I guess that's something we need to watch really, really closely over the next months.
Do you pick up that you obviously see an awful lot of tourists in the building, and I know you carry out surveys, and you probably have sort of ad hoc discussions with some of them. Are you picking up any vibes about the state of Irish tourism and, how we're doing in terms of the tourism product and the broader kind of value proposition rather than just the storehouse?
Yes, indeed, we are, Owen. And, I suppose if you look at the number of visitors, over 100,000 per month, it is a good benchmark and representation. Across Dublin, particularly. In general, people are very satisfied with the overall product that they get, but we are certainly hearing more, I suppose, the mood music around cost of living, the cost of a holiday in Ireland, particularly around, the challenges around car hire. As you look to get around the island, most people don't come to Dublin if it's that longer holiday. And that's what we're seeing right now. They come to Dublin at the beginning or the end of their trip, and they go, they travel across the country. And as we know, you really do most likely need a car if you want to get around the country. So car hire and the cost of living, the cost of hotel rooms in Dublin is certainly something we're hearing a little bit more of. Not every single day by any means, but I think it is so important as we move into the winter, that maybe that sense of disposable income. We don't know how the American market will hold up as we go through the next couple of months. So, Dublin will rely on a lot of short breaks from the UK and mainland Europe, which is really important. And those markets are certainly more price sensitive. So we don't want to get to a position where people feel that Dublin is not a place that they can afford to stop off in, and competitiveness is going to be so important as we move forward.
Absolutely. We're never going to be the cheapest destination, but we always need to retain that value proposition. And you mentioned Row & Co, and it's great that's doing well and performing well. How's the Smithwick's experience performing in Kilkenny? Because that's another one of your attractions.
Yes, after a little bit of a hiatus, we're delighted to have reopened the Smithwick's experience in the middle of July. We did again invest quite a bit of money in improving and refreshing that experience. So we have a beautiful new flavors room. We're also building an outdoor space, which is going to be finished in the next couple of weeks. So again, that sense of indoor and outdoor and some of the learnings we've had from COVID about the importance of outdoor space. So having that outdoor bar means that we have again more space, and we can target both a domestic and an international market. Since we opened, we've been really pleased with how the experience has performed and the feedback that we're getting from it, and looking forward to seeing how the next couple of months go. Kilkenny is booming. There is so much going on in the city. Great to see the investment in festivals and the real focus on the brand and the awareness of Kilkenny. So looking forward to seeing how this summer goes, and of course how we start to recover when we look at a whole year's trading period.
No, it's a fine attraction, and as you say, Kilkenny is a wonderful city and a real kind of tourism hub. So it's another really good thing to see and do in the city. And just back to the Storehouse for a moment, and sort of the broader St. James's Gate campus, because there are big development plans. I've seen them, and they're really exciting, and plans have recently been lodged with the city council. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and if it goes according to plan, how it might transform the quarter?
Yes, I mean, we're absolutely thrilled to have reached the milestone of getting planning permission in, and our vision for the site, working very closely with Ballymore and many of our colleagues across Diageo Ireland and Guinness, is to create a Guinness Quarter that's world-class, modern and dynamic, a dynamic urban kind of neighbourhood in Dublin 8. And we've developed a master plan that brings that vision to life by creating a seamless union of residential living, of community, entrepreneurship, creativity, sustainability is at the heart of it, commerce, culture and public space, but also retaining the site's unique heritage. We've been brewing Guinness since 1759, and kind of some of the main features of the site, particularly from a tourism perspective, are more than 2 acres of landscaped public spaces, which is really important in that sense. Opening up the gate, a very vibrant food hall, which we feel would be a landmark destination, a marketplace to showcase local and regional and national producers, commercial space, housing, some hotel accommodation, and then just the refurbishment and the extension of some of the existing buildings. So, it's going to take a period of time to get to that end game, but we're really excited about the vision and working with Ballymore to bring that to life. And I think it's going to be transformational for Dublin 8. for tourism, for culture, and for the community here in.
Absolutely. No, it'll be a game changer. It's really exciting. So I wish you every success with it. And of course, the Storehouse will be right in the center of things. So it'll hopefully be very good for business.
The Storehouse will be right in the center of it, and you know, a key part of the full experience of the Guinness Quarter, as will Open Gate Brewery and Roe & Co Whiskey Distillery as well.
Great. We've got the budget coming up September 27th. It's slightly earlier this year. You mentioned the cost of living crisis, and there's an awful lot of sort of requests of government, and they've obviously only got a finite budget which to allocate. But you know, we all in tourism feel that tourism needs to be given due attention, and pro tourism policies need to be maintained. Any particular thoughts on the budget and what Minister Paschal Donoghue and Minister Michael McGrath might be able to do for our sector at the end of September?
Well, Owen, I think ITIC have done great work on preparing a budget submission, and I'd be very supportive of all of the asks from ITIC, and a couple that I really call out has been really critically important for tourism at the moment is to retain the competitiveness and the 9% VAT. It's been brilliant to have that support from government, and we'd love to see that continuing. I can't emphasize the importance of our competitiveness. You know, we know there are headwinds ahead with inflationary rises, unprecedented inflationary rises across all of the elements of the huge cost that it takes to run an Indigenous tourism business, whether that be in the west of Ireland or in Cork or Kilkenny or here in Dublin. So we can't underestimate, number one, the importance of retaining competitiveness and protecting those small businesses. So, we would love to see more support on that side, and we'd love to see investment. I know, again, it's been fantastic to get the additional marketing spend for Tourism Ireland to market Ireland internationally, particularly now with the kind of media framing of Dublin being a really expensive city and Ireland been an expensive country. Now more than ever, it's time to continue to invest in marketing and to invest in that international messaging to get people, press the green button and get people to actually book to come to Ireland. And if you think about the things that make people book, it is airline access, it is reasonable hotel or accommodation costs, and it is the ability to get themselves from A to B, as well as great experiences. So we have to continue to make sure we're competitive in that perspective. And then finally, our unique selling point is our welcome and the welcome that we provide to visitors. And that does not come easy. It comes with training, it comes with the right people, it comes with being able to recruit the best talent, to be world class right across the country and to deliver that Ireland of the welcomes that we're so known for. We cannot afford to lose that. It's such a unique element. So that means making sure that cost of living, that we can afford to have people live and work in Dublin, particularly, but also that we have housing and that we have policies in place to train and to welcome and to recruit people to the industry.
Yeah. Great. Listen, Catherine, thank you so much for your time. We're delighted that the Storehouse is back trading very strongly, and the fact that Roe & Co and Smithwick are doing well too is a real plus. So best of luck with the rest of the year, and we'll chat to you soon.
Thanks a million, Owen, and thanks so much for your support and for ITIC's support over the last couple of years. It's been so welcome and so needed. So thank you.
Great. Thanks, Catherine.